individual. All our needs that comes in our place, I want to be rich, I want to be this, that, we will get rid of all of this. No, we will struggle to make ourselves better in the not worship of money, worship of women, worship of flag, nation, worship of status, but we will worship God and knowledge. So this is what.
Why do you kiss the black stone then?
Signifies when we throw the stones at you. So this is one thing. The other aspect is also a sacrifice, where we sacrifice an animal, demonstrating that yes, just like Abraham.
Why did the pagans before go around the Kaaba?
The best thing, the most beloved things.
Come on.
If God commands
Come on.
you
He's gonna walk away.
we are also ready to sacrifice anything that's best. But obviously God has spared us from human sacrifices or anything like that. So we
Kill the unbelievers wherever you find them.
Choosing the
Fight
best
those who
animal.
don't believe in Allah in the last
Best
day.
animal, untamed, not a lame,
That sounds like
not
human
a
sacrifice.
disabled animal.
What is
but
jihad? You have to kill
we will
yourself,
say
right?
we sacrifice.
That's human sacrifice for Allah.
Right? But God is the one ultimately that we should rely on, we should worship, rather than simply
So why
we
do
should
they
rely on
bow down to a black stone?
Ego.
Ask them that. Ask them that. Why do they bow down to a black stone when the Ten Commandments says that shall not bow down to any carved image? Show us the evidence where Ishmael and Abraham was in Mecca. Show us the evidence. He doesn't have it. The hymn was inside the Kaaba before, and Muhammad destroyed it. So wait, hold on. The pagans. Am I lying?
I'm speaking to you. I'm not speaking
See
to
what I'm saying? He want.
The question was because I've researched it. My research has told me that before Islam was formed, before the religion of Islam came about in 646, right? 646 AD, so something around that point. Before the religion of Islam came about, I seen that Mecca was circled in a pagan tradition.
I just said that. Answer him.
And the house
Answer him.
of Mecca was the house of a pagan god, and the black stone was a symbol of a pagan god, something along them lines.
Hold on.
That's why I asked you.
Put it on here. Stay right here, bro. Stay right here.
Bro, the brother is here to learn, it's not to debate. He's trying to learn, it's not to
So
debate.
I want to hear him lie.
You trying to debate?
I want to hear him lie. Calm down.
But he's not debating, though.
Calm down.
He's not
I want to hear him lie.
Let him learn, bro. He
I'll
actually,
put it right here.
You know, I think now is a point. Get some Muslim parents. Don't want them, not you particularly. I don't think.
no, he doesn't want to debate him, bro. We're all here to learn.
He asked the question. Can you answer it,
Let him
please?
answer it. So what you here to debate you, bro? It's stupid, man. Let
If
us
I ask
learn,
you
bro.
now, what are your sources? Let's analyze internet.
I asked the
It is
question.
Guys, it's just distracting him.
It is an access or a gateway to sources. Right? It would then provide Google, PubMed. So, give us some sources which the academics talk about. Hajj rituals actually research is and it has no previous historical precedence.
I don't have the sources.
Something that you vaguely remember.
This is something that I vaguely.
Fine. So this is vaguely remember without.
Something I've seen on nobody.
Sure. So if I can ask you, what sort of sources did you use in your research? Because a research needs to be. Do you agree? Thank you. Do you agree? Research needs to be robust. Robust. Yep. Proper methodological approach utilized. And it needs to be research that is valid. If a research is some hecklers tells you something, you take their word, like the previous individual, who was not a heckler but the individual mistaken, and tells you this is what it is, and you quote him as your source, that would not be a research. Do you agree?
You want us to Google it right now?
He also used again to produce a source.
What source was that? What source was that?
Which then told you the source.
No, he didn't tell me a source. You're being disingenuous now. I asked him specifically, from that video, just give me the source. Because it's like you telling me it says it, but I'm saying, where? Just tell me the reference. So he should have done, as other brother was here, I don't even know him, just quote me the verse, quote me the chapter. Simple. That's a reference. Not, a random video on YouTube talks about it. This is not a source. Do you agree?
I asked you a question.
Now I'm going to answer.
Good.
Yeah, 2
Now
hours
I'm
later.
going to answer.
Good.
Now I'm going to answer.
And now you've got the cameras.
Good, brother.
Yeah, he's happy
Do
now.
you know why?
Stick with that.
Do you know why I got the cameras? Because
That's your question.
Christians cameras are recording. I want to make it balanced.
Oh, okay, good.
That's all.
So
If,
answer
there,
the question now.
if there's no cameras,
question now.
I don't care.
Why would
No
they
cameras,
worship
no
me?
problem. So, I'm simply asking to the question. Because you've made a claim. Remember, I didn't make that claim.
I asked you a question. I asked you a question. I said I've researched.
I want to know the research that you've done so that I can learn where the information you're getting this from is something is valid or not. Because you can just say, like imagine, I say, I've made research, and in this research, I found X, Y, and Z. You have all the right to ask me, but what is this research based on? Is it based on a proper methodological approach, robust sources and so on? If I was just quoting a random guy on the street and he said so, that doesn't make it true.
Yes, they were circling the Kaaba. What does he want?
So-
he says to answer the question.
I'm asking
Were they
you
doing
again.
it, yes or no?
Give me the historical references.
You want Islamic resources?
The Kaaba has been there from day one when Adam built it, and it's been
Adam
rebuilt
built
many
it.
times.
You hear that? The man said Adam built the Kaaba. Where's your resources? Right. Where's your proof?
Let's see.
They were pagans.
Come on.
They were pagans.
They were circling the Kaaba.
So this is where you are. No, let me.
And they were worshiping a false god called Hebel.
Are you a Christian? Is he a Christian?
So
And he's getting cooked.
the Arabs of pre-Islamic Arabia,
Where's your proof?
they knew about Abraham.
Where's your proof?
Because Abraham came, and Hagar settled
What's his resource?
in Arabia.
Come on.
The water
Where
of
is your
Zamzam.
proof? Right.
The well of
Where's your source?
Zamzam is from that time, from
Where's your
Ishmael,
source?
right?
I got Google right here.
This is
Where's your source?
Islamic tradition.
David.
Islamic
Now,
tradition. Hear what he said.
If
He has no source.
if you are now talking about sources from secular tradition, I can then say, are you going to be consistent in using secular tradition as your sources? Do you agree?
No. It's called freedom of speech.
I don't speak to her like I
Islamic
speak to
country.
you. So, may I ask once again,
Jimmy, whenever
do you accept secular historical traditions as your sources? Do you
ask him
agree?
for the source.
Do you agree with using, relying on
Where's your source?
secular historical sources?
Where's your source?
Historical sources. What's a historical source? Are these
Come on, he asked for
Non-religious.
sources, but you won't give him sources. Where is your source?
That's what secular
Adam
means.
built the Kaaba.
Non-religious sources, historical sources. Do you agree that these are valid historical sources to use?
I know what you mean.
Where's your...
And answer is, do you agree to use them?
But also secular sources can contradict.
Sorry?
All secular sources does not mean all secular sources are false. They can also come
So
with
let's now talk about now something very fundamental.
He didn't answer your
Because
question.
I disagree with what you just
Let
said.
him run.
I disagree with what you said. Let me tell you why I disagree. Shall I?
No, please, because
The moment you become selective at your... Are you listening? Excuse me. Excuse me. If you're going to have a conversation with him, you're welcome to go and have a conversation over there. If you're going to have a conversation with me, directly. Don't listen to anyone else. Thank you. So,
out of respect, I'm asking you.
I am responding. I am responding. Because you said something which is very inconsistent. Your inconsistency is this.
Where's his source?
When you selectively choose historical sources, you pick and choose like a cherry
Nah,
picking.
man, the man said he got
That is
sources.
not... Wait.
Where's his
When,
source?
okay, so let me ask you this.
Question.
Historical
Right
sources...
here.
Historical sources are what?
Right here.
To give you an example.
Take your mask
Brother,
off and come on camera.
if I asked you, if we want to know about history,
You wanted to debate, right?
5,000
Take your
years
mask
ago,
off in the debate.
say in
Take your mask
Mesopotamia,
off. Don't be a coward. I
what
want
is our
everybody- I want everybody
historical
to say
sources
no.
available for us to know?
No.
And how can we use these sources? In which methodology to know in a probabilistic way, because history is probabilistic,
Come on camera.
that these things occur. Now tell me
I
that.
want to expose you.
What you're saying.
Take your mask off.
I was trying to stick to the original point.
I was circling the Kaaba before Islam.
What's wrong with that?
Does it mean all religious sources are
Is it
true
Google?
and no secular sources
Is
are
it Google?
true?
So let me clarify. When it comes to historical sources, using the historical critical method, for example, secular,
Come on.
you can use the religious sources like religious books like the Veda, religious books like the British Bible or the Quran. These are religious historical texts. But when we're talking about to know about history, we need to have at our disposal some kind of source methodology in which we can, excuse me, please. We need to know how we can learn about history, right? Without being biased. So there is a tradition in the Western historians, they use the historical critical method, in which they will say, these methods gives us that this is what most probably that happened. They cannot say definitely, because history does not give us definitive knowledge. So if you now totally disregard secular history, then you're picking and choosing, cherry picking the historical method to arrive at the historical whatever thing happened, right?
Because this has been blown out of proportion.
No, I'm going to the very fundamentals. These are the principles of knowledge.
I just asked you a question.
And the answer relies on how we approach history. So that's why I asked you. If we want to know about something that happened 5,000 years ago, would you agree? If the Veda tells us the history of China, it's acceptable to you? The Veda of the Hindu books.
Sorry?
If the Veda, Veda, V-E-D-A, Veda.
Arab news on here.
If the Veda, which is a religious book of the
That was
Hindus,
circling the
right?
Kaaba
Rig
before
Veda,
Islam.
if it tells us
Worshiping
about
Abel.
what happened in China
Islamic
5,000 years ago, would you consider this religious text to give us
Right.
this historical event that took place is correct?
Ask which Quran.
Which Quran? Here we go.
Literally, which Quran?
I understand that he's just blowing smoke.
Yeah, he is. Literally, he's doing it for the views. He's doing it for the views. You're old, man. You're a dinosaur.
Use your brain.
You're getting cooked by
Use
the
your
young
God-given
ones.
intellect. Use your God-given intellect to have a conversation with you, rather than the
You
heckler
need some
trying
milk.
to do this.
Mansoor, he's a kid. Why are you trying to...
How old are you, by the way?
He's a kid.
How old is he?
Young boy.
24-year-old kid. Okay, I can speak to a 24-year-old kid, no problem. Do you have a problem? I can speak to a 24-year-old. So, Veda describing the history in China 5,000 years ago, would you accept that narration?
Arab news.
I know what you mean.
We got Arab news that was circling the Kaaba before Islam.
So now you're being
That was
biased to a
circling the
religious
Kaaba.
text
Come on.
to know the history.
Arab sources.
Exactly how
Read
you
it.
wrote with the Kaaba.
Iqra.
If you go to look,
Okay, one second.
Mansoor,
What was
welcome.
your
what was
response is
evidence
this.
for the Kaaba?
That was
Your
circling the
response
Kaaba
is
before Islam.
Your response is, it is okay to be. Your response is, it's okay to have a bias to a religious text if you believe in a religious text. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what he said.
Are you having difficulty listening because of all this destruction? Little bit, tell them to stop it. But you have the right to tell them off.
Raise your voice.
You have the right to tell
Not answering your
them.
question.
Okay. So,
Mansoor, you're a dinosaur.
when we talk about, for example, history of the Kaaba, the Hajj and so on, what I gave you, I said, from the Islamic tradition. Did I tell you that? Islamic tradition. This is what we consider to be what happened, because this is our tradition. If somebody says no, we disregard this tradition, we do not accept this tradition, then the question comes with methodology. Number one, why do you disregard our Islamic tradition? And what else do you have for these historical events? You have to justify both of them.
Mansoor needs some milk.
Where is the evidence for the
Islamic text.
This guy's some milk.
So it's biased, right?
That's what I'm asking you. Do you agree? Do you agree? A religious history by the religious people
notice, yes,
it is acceptable to the religious people themselves, right? Do you agree?
Actually answering it.
A religious tradition is acceptable to the religious community. Because for them, this tradition or history is accurate and correct because it comes from God.
Exactly what I said earlier. With the, what was the religious text for the
The Veda.
The Veda, exactly. This is what I said earlier. If it was in the Bible, I would believe it. Because it's in a different religious text,
So now-
I'm inclined to believe it.
Good.
I have a different belief in the Bible than the Quran. You believe in the Quran that Jesus wasn't crucified. Well, I believe he was crucified.
So let's come back to the agreement then. What we agree is that our respective religious traditions we give preferences to.
Exactly.
Right? Right. So now when there is a disagreement between historicity of an event, between our religious traditions, the question is, how do we resolve this matter? Tell me some criteria that we can use when there is a discrepancy between, say, Jewish, Christian religious tradition about a historical event and Islamic tradition between a historical event of the same event.
What I would use now, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would use then a secular bit of evidence, something from outside, something that isn't Islamic, something that isn't Christian. I would use something like that. But earlier, you then said secular evidence, you can't use it.
No, I didn't say anything like
Yes,
that.
you did.
No, please listen carefully.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
I
You
did
said
not
that you
say
couldn't
anything
use
about
secular evidence.
secular evidence you cannot use or you can use. I didn't say anything like that.
Yes,
I was
you did say
establishing.
that. You did, liar! You deceiver!
Look at the liars. It's all on tape. You can watch it
for
later.
example, notice
Yeah,
he
you
had
can
an
watch it
entire
later.
tirade
So,
about secular evidence.
about secular
and how
evidence,
it was
here's my take now.
reliable, and how
Are you
it
listening?
showed priority
Are you listening?
to religious history. Because if you
So
rely on
secular
secular anthropology
secular
or
historical
sociology,
details,
or even outside other sources
there is-
to tell you that the Kaaba existed, you wouldn't actually be able to find it.
Because I can't
The idea that the Kaaba is built by
focus on speaking
Abraham
to this.
is strictly a
Okay?
claim of
So
Islam.
this is the inferiority of Christian belief system these people have, not you, these people. Because they feel that Christianity will be dismantled, and that's why they interject in every single conversation. Do you want me to show you tens and tens of conversations where they come and heckle?
Go ahead, show me. And I will show him hundreds where you heckle. Go ahead. Bring it up. Bring us some evidence of what you said.
Right.
I watch YouTube.
Right.
So I see heckling from both sides. Everyone heckles.
Have you seen me going and heckling a
I have.
conversation?
Let me show you. Let me show you.
Yeah?
Let me show you. A couple of years ago, a guy called David Lynn came here.
Have you seen
and
me heckling a
Mini Mansoor
conversation?
got praised. So Mini Mansoor wanted to go and heckle.
And what was the
let me show you
conversation that I
heckling.
can't help? You can't even remember.
Exactly.
I'll show you right
I
now.
can't remember exactly. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast.
That's your problem, not mine.
As you can see,
that's
as
your
you can see, this is Mini Mansoor with his mouth open, yelling at a preacher for no apparent reason. Now, the preacher left the park. He went outside. Guess who followed him? Minnie Mouse Mansoor. As you can see, he's outside. And Minnie Mouse Mansoor decides that he is going to come and
we're going
echo.
to have a
Look,
conversation,
it's
or you
Minnie
can
Mouse
listen to this
Mansoor.
lies
Minnie Mouse
and
Mansoor left this corner. Minnie Mouse Mansoor
So when
left
he
this
finished,
corner and went outside. Look at it right here. Look at it right here. Minnie
when he
Mouse
finishes,
Mansoor
come back and
decided
speak
to leave, go outside, and then heckle the pastor. And as you can see, here is Mansoor. And in fact, Mansoor was so belligerent. And Mansoor claimed that the pastor should give him his whole mic. So Mansoor came over here, he's yelling at the pastor's turning away from him,
So,
and Mansoor
you were listening
heckling.
quite carefully.
It's Mansoor.
Those of you who are listening,
the tiny hypocrites.
Quite.
If you claim you don't heckle, you engage in the break clearly. Right here.
Okay.
It's on video.
Okay. Okay.
So you can
Excellent
expose
question. Let me
students
get some
and let you run away.
I said clearly here,
Hey.
when we have conflicts between historicity of an event, between religious traditions, how do we resolve? How do we resolve? Say something about Abraham. The Bible talks about Abraham. The Quran talks about Abraham. Okay. Have we found any evidence for Moses? So far, we've been digging.
When they parted the Red Sea,
Can you take the mic from me?
there is horse remains, chariot remains, sword remains, as well as
No, he wants to talk. He wants to talk. Come forward. Oh, sorry.
Have we found any evidence from Moses from the secular history since we've been digging for a long time? No, we haven't. Can you show me one single historical reference from academia in which now we have found Moses, the prophet? Open challenge. Open challenge to all of you.
Oh, really?
Go ahead.
Can you show us where Adam built the
But I'm
Kaaba?
speaking to you.
Open challenge to you.
Go ahead.
Show us
Ignore the
where.
heckler. I'm speaking to you, madam. And to you as well.
No, that's fine, Mansoor. I'm right here because I would love to.
I don't want to speak to hecklers.
Mansoor, give
I'm
me
responding to your
evidence
question.
from the Quran.
Yeah.
So these are all
Give me
hecklers.
evidence for Sahih Bukhari manuscript predating the 6th
I'm open
century.
to hearing now the historical evidence from Moses from
Where's
digging.
historical evidence of Muhammad in the 6th century,
Go
Mansoor?
ahead. I'm listening to you. Ignore the hecklers.
Mansoor, where is
It's
the
kind of hard, isn't it?
historical
That's
evidence
right. You can tell them.
of
Stop
Muhammad
heckling.
from the 6th century?
Go ahead. Tell him. Stop heckling.
There's no need. This is a
Well,
little part.
woman in Islam,
It's kind of
according to
hard.
Muhammad,
You can
they're
tell
deficient in
him.
mind.
Be brave and tell
Why
him.
are you
Stop
talking about
heckling.
women? According to Muhammad, they're deficient in mind. Muhammad says, I'll show you. This is what you do for Islam.
Come on. Why are you blocking camera? Hey.
I don't care about your money, my brother.
No, why are you always
I'm waiting to find the historical reference.
Muhammad says women are deficient in mind. Let him go to somebody who has knowledge in Christian. Let him go to a scholar. In Muhammad said women are deficient in mind.
Hey, they think
Perfect.
Muhammad.
I'm saying that
According to Muhammad. According to Muhammad. According to Muhammad. According to Muhammad. Your biblical body said that women can teach.
embarrassing.
Stop! Stop talking!
Mansoor,
Respect
Mansoor, what you
her!
should do is go to respect her.
Show some respect
How
to
about
her.
you stop telling her lies? How about that?
Show some respect to this lady here.
Show her respect, my Mansoor. Bring out a source when you make a claim. Bring out a source.
Show some respect to the lady.
Yes, Mansoor.
Stop heckling.
He's not following Muhammad.
Should we go to one side?
In Sahih Bukhari 265, the Prophet said, "He's running of a woman equal to half of that of a man." This is because of the
Stop the
spirit
hecklers.
of a woman's mind.
They are not respecting you, so come and have a
Muhammad
conversation.
said, "Women are deficient in mind." Go to somebody who is knowledgeable. Mansoor.
That's what we want to have a conversation. But obviously, these Christian hecklers are not really respecting her. That's what I'm saying. Just move away from these hecklers. Come here. The guy who was not even interested in the conversation.
Go forward. Go forward.
Mansoor, answer this, please. You're a hypocrite. Listen to this. This is a hypocrite.
That's the Judeo-Christian
Sahih Bukhari 2658.
Islam theology
The Prophet said,
Just bring
"Isn't
her
a
over
witness
here.
a woman
Away from the
equal to
hecklers.
half of that
Away
of a
from the
man?"
hecklers.
The woman said yes.
never
He
answered
said
the question.
this is
Just
because
on the question.
of the deficiency of a woman's mind.
Carry on, I'm listening.
Mansoor is a hypocrite.
Why are you quoting?
He is a hypocrite.
With a Judeo-Christian foundation nation. We're not interested. We are built on a Judeo-Christian foundation.
So we'll just go over there. And then we'll have a
He's going there. He's going to talk to her. Nothing. Zero. Nothing.
Good. Away from the hecklers. Now,
Unless you want to engage me directly, run away. So yes,
I asked
Mansoor,
you
yes.
about-
And I'm telling you directly that what you're talking about, Mansoor, and I'm telling you directly that what it is you're
do
talking
you want to have a
about.
conversation or you want to end? I will respect what you will say. If you want to end the conversation, we end.
We're going to defend that. You guys are such hypocrites. You guys are such hypocrites.
If you don't want to have a conversation, it's fine. Which one is it? Do you want to have a conversation or not?
You go to my way. I will make
So you can tell them. You can tell them. You have all the right to tell them to stop heckling.
that I will make a village is the point. Now,
You were wrong to think that.
Hey! Hey!
You were wrong to think that.
Hey! Muslim getting violent again! Hey! Excuse me, you got violence. You got violence. He got violence.
Mansoor, stop messing women.
I saw it. You shot it. You shot it. It's on camera. You shot it. It's on camera.
Because this is the right
On camera. You shot him.
These names is not right for you by this.
You shot him for. That's showing yourselves. You're showing yourself. It's on camera.
Yeah, it's on camera. We saw you. You showed me.
Yeah, it's on camera. No, it's on camera. It's on camera.
The religion of peace is here. Well, you're both. I just said that. I don't want you outside the gate. No one's getting trouble.
It's on camera.
Outside the gate.
Right, we just move to the side. Lady, go through, okay?
Are you all good? Nah, sure. Go back outside. I don't want to snitch. Go back outside. I don't speak. That's fine. I know. I saw that.
Hello guys, I just had my first little debate in Speaker's Corner. I asked Mansoor, I was talking with this lad here off the camera. I asked Mansoor a question. I asked him whether the Kaaba was circled by the pagans. And he told me that the sources that I used, I didn't have the sources at hand because I seen it a long time ago, but the sources that I would have used are secular, so they are void. You can't use them. However, then later in the conversation, he said that historic texts from the Islamic literature, that's what he believed. Christian texts from Christian literature, they're what I believe. The scriptures, the Bible, the Quran, and we are biased towards our specific religious texts. However, after that, because I'm biased to my Christian text and he's biased towards his Islamic text, we have to bridge the gap. How? Through different religious texts or through secular texts. And then Mansoor said, Mansoor, what's the word?
Kept waffling through.
He contradicted himself. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys.